Welcome back to MFO, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody wants to make a mile-long cast. They want to be able to get their rods and reels tuned up to the point where and balanced so that they can make that cast that just goes booming out there, takes all the line off your reel. You are a monster. You can make those big long casts. But I tell you what, there are times when a short cast is actually more beneficial to you, and it is the way that you want to go. It's more efficient, you catch more fish, and it is the way to catch more fish in certain situations. We'll come back right after this and we will talk about what those situations are. Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher, and we're out here on the lake today. Just a Friday afternoon, relatively calm and nice. It was raining a little bit. I'm out here throwing just a little core tackle swim jig around, seeing if I can get some bites. But this is a situation here on this lake where it is so weedy that making long casts just is not what I want to be doing. By the time I get a quarter of the way done with the cast, I can feel that that jig has picked up weeds, and so now I'm just reeling in weeds and going to clear them off and wasting a lot of time. So what I've learned to do here in these situations is make shorter casts where I can visually see the type of cover that I'm throwing to and increase the clean running of my swim jig or my bait, whatever it is that I'm throwing, to where I can at least be making casts that are completely clean, not picking up weeds as I'm going along, and I've got a better chance of hooking up with fish. Let's come out on the water. Let's take a look at some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to making long casts versus making short casts. So as you can see, I just made a nice long cast, but as I reel that bait back, it feels pretty clean right now, and I'm getting it back. But now I've picked up weeds. And so now the rest of my retrieve is really a waste of time. And I come back with weeds on it, you know, like this. And it might just be one strand of grass, but one strand of grass is not, I'm not going to catch a fish with that strand of grass trailing behind that swim jig. So instead, what I'm going to do is just make shorter casts, maybe 10 or 20 yards. And I've got much more ability to control my bait. And if I feel my bait coming in on the grass, I can kind of pop it, get it off. But the other thing is that if I did get fouled up on the grass, I haven't wasted quite as much time getting it back. Now this does require that you be a little bit more stealthy. You're not making casts where, you know, you're not making casts that are getting out there far enough to have the fish not know that the boat is present. But if you're not running the trolling motor a lot, you're not making a lot of noise, I think you're still in a position where you have a much better chance of catching fish than if you were throwing that bait a long way and then just wasting your retrieve. There we go. Even though my bait's not getting in the weeds, the fish took me in the weeds. Little guy, but we got a short cast using the Core Tackle swim jig. This is the Guilty Pleasure, and nice little bass on a short little cast. Just throwing a swim jig, just crawling it through the weeds, just over the tops of the weeds, things like that. And again, a longer cast, I'm not saying I'm not gonna get bit, but I think I'm gonna keep doing this, and I think I'm gonna catch more fish using shorter little casts where I'm looking and can see where I'm casting and can kind of feather it through rather than just making a big long booming cast and who knows what's underneath there. Let's keep trying and see what we got. All right, so let's see if I can show you about the length of the cast that I'm making here. You see where that is, and trying to do this without dropping my phone here. So as opposed to making a cast that's like that, and just, you know, there's no way that's not coming in all clogged up with weeds. There it is. That's what we're talking about, guys. You know, again, I came out here to make a point that sometimes I think short casts, especially when you're in weedy lakes where they're really it's just weeds all over, making short casts is more efficient than making big long bombing casts where you cast it a country mile. It doesn't make sense to make that country mile cast and then, you know, have 3/4 of it be dragging weeds back. So guys, let me know what you think about this. Make those short casts, be able to see where you're casting to, keep that bait clean and working through the weeds. I've been out here for just a little bit. I used a Core Tackle swim jig because I got so much confidence in this little 1/4 ounce Core Tackle swim jig in the Guilty Pleasure color. It's the bluegill color. I love that little swim jig, and I just thought that was the bait that I could use to kind of make this point. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Subscribe if you haven't done so, and we will see you tomorrow with another episode of Mark Fisher Outdoors. Take care, everybody.